Women, look at you. Fabulous, strong, wonderful women. There's nothing, girls, that we cannot do.
I was really humbled when I got asked by the English Cricket Board to put two teams of 11 ladies together. If we can, you can! If we can, you can!
So my name is Fatima Patel and I am the editor, also founder of the Asian Sunday newspaper. This project started by accident. What happened was, on social media there's a new pitch that's just been given loads of investment, a cricket pitch called Park Avenue, and the place were giving tours to mainly male business owners, potentially secure some sponsorships. And this picture was being circulated with showing off that, oh, these men have just come here today and they're just being given a tour, and hopefully they'll look at giving sponsorship. And I got offended by that because I know, and a lot of people know, that there's so many women in Bradford who have got really high profile businesses and they're more than capable of sponsoring projects as well. So why weren't the women invited as well, business women, to come and be given a tour of the cricket pitch? So I kicked off, as you do, and that then got a conversation going to say, look, Fatima, really sorry you feel this way, let's have a meeting, let's talk over coffee. And then obviously we had the meeting, so I had a meeting with the Yorkshire Cricket County, a communities manager, and also with somebody from ECB. And I've always said to ECB that I think that, you know, a lot of the things they do is a tick box exercise. They want to engage in the community, they want to get more women into the community. They should be here, going out and talking to those people and getting them to engage. But I don't see any of that. I just see these press releases coming out and just see stories and no actual work being done. So to their credit, they took ownership and said, we agree with you that we struggle to get women, in particular BME women, involved in these kind of projects. So why don't you help us do it? And then that was it. Once somebody challenges me, it's like, okay, now I've got to take this challenge on board. Inside of me, I was a little bit scared, thinking, right, have you taken on too much? But then I also was sure that our women will play. Given the resources, given the opportunities, they will. We're looking at a new generation now. We're looking at a new wave of women who are independent, who are successfully independent, and who have a mind of their own, and who want to do things, who want to make change, who want to show that they can, do sports as well as all the other things that they manage between home and work. So having that faith, I put a message out, and I was tasked with getting two teams to play, or two teams of 11. Put the message out, and we've managed to get 4 teams of 11. And the fact that these ladies have decided to put themselves out there in front of everybody to play a sport that they've never played, and most of these women are late 20s to going on to, we've got one lady who's going to be 60 this year. The amazing thing is the women that are playing, you've got people who are Italian background, Caribbean background, obviously Pakistani, Indian, Kashmir, so many different backgrounds. And when we're playing, nobody thinks about the background, nobody thinks about where this person's come from. They just think about, how do I hit that ball and get that sixer?
I was pretty naive when it came to a lot of multicultural communities. I grew up in an all-white community. There was no blacks, no Asians, no Chinese people. There just wasn't many at all, and I was a bit naive in that sense. And coming down and doing this tournament where there's just a whole different bunch of women from all different nationalities and races, and it kind of opened my eyes a little bit there. That especially within the military, you kind of get a taboo. And yeah, I've learned a lot about a lot of different people, and their backgrounds and where they come from, and that they're not really that much different from anybody else, and that's a really great thing.
Hi, I'm Kirsty Gavlett. I'm 36 years old. I'm the captain of Team India. Please come in.
I'm a staff sergeant in the British Army. I work at 5 Armoured Medical Regiment, which is barracks in Catterick Garrison. I'm from Hartlepool, born and bred, and I moved here last year. So I got involved in this cricket project because of her, sat there. Shivani's, we met in Kenya playing cricket. I was with the UCAF team, she was with a charity. So I've coached cricket for quite a number of years now, and I think the biggest challenge with a couple of these women is their age. A lot of these women are a lot older, and trying to teach them new skills is a lot different than teaching a small child. So a kid would get it straight away, you tell him to keep his arm straight, he'll bowl it that way because it's a skill he's never done before. Where some of these women, they've obviously thrown balls before, etc. But trying to tell them to keep their arm straight, it can be quite challenging because it's something they're not used to. So things like that, getting them to stop talking is also a bit of a challenge, you know, because you're under a time scale and you've got time pressures, and they all want to have a natter and a cup of tea, and you know, which is fine because they're coming out and they're socialising, but you've got to try and teach them cricket in an hour. So that was quite challenging as well, yeah.
People like Kirsty, who she plays in the army, she's a team captain in the army. We've got Shiv, who both play for Team India, and I look up to both of them because they've helped us coach, and they've been absolutely brilliant, and they've taught us a lot of things. And there's a couple of girls now that have taken the level 1 coaching certificate, and they've now started coaching us as well, which is great because you learn a few tricks that you didn't know before. So yeah, so I look up to them. I think they're great.
Hi, I'm Vanda Greenwood, Labour Councillor for Windhill and Rose and the captain for Team England.
I got involved with IWCC because I got a phone call from Fatima one morning that basically said, I understand you're really good at cricket, do you want to be involved? And I went, well, I'm not actually really good at cricket, but yes, I would really love to get involved. Started going to the training sessions, then it's really addictive and it's in your blood. Like I'm going tonight, we have quite a number of training sessions now, especially now it's getting closer to the tournament. And it's just amazing meeting all these new people that you've never met before from all different walks of life, and that I just love it, absolutely love it, and they all do. The biggest challenges, I think, was you start playing and I think you think that you're going to be better than what you actually are, and then when you start playing you realise you're actually not that good. But we've had some brilliant coaching from some really good coaches. A couple of the players are sort of semi-professional players, and they've got the level 2 coaching, so we've had them come to our training sessions, and you can see myself and everybody else, all the other ladies, improving week on week on week, and now we know how to do things properly. Like bowling, there's an art to bowling that you just don't realise. You think it's just a matter of throwing a ball, but it actually isn't. You've got to throw it straight to start with. And so everybody's really proud of themselves. I'm proud of all the rest of the teams just to see how well that they're doing. Yeah, the highlights of this whole project has been bringing women together from all different walks of life. A lot of people have had things happen in their life that have caused them challenges. A lot of women now have come along and the confidence has risen like, you know, you wouldn't believe. And that's what I think's been really good, because we've met a lot of good people. We now socialise with each other, and you know, so we've met friends now for life, I think. So we're going to continue doing this as well. So once the tournament's over, then we're going to start doing things next year, and hopefully have another tournament.
It's been growth for me in terms of, you know, putting myself out there, trying to, you know, become more engaged with situations I wouldn't normally be engaged in, learning about different women, you know, playing together, encouraging each other, uplifting each other. That's been a really nice part for me, because when you don't know somebody, it's hard to gauge, you know, sort of what kind of a level you'd interact with them on. But cricket's really good because you're playing the game together and it immediately breaks the ice, so there's no awkwardness or shyness, and everybody just gets involved, and that's a really nice feeling when you're at sessions. Hi, my name's Aisha, I'm 35 years old. I am a neighbourhood team leader for a housing association, and I'm also the captain for Team Pakistan. The first thing that came to my mind was, I haven't played cricket since I was a child, but I always loved it, so why not? And that's why I got involved. So as a child, I played cricket and football on the street with my brothers, with my cousins. sort of grew up around it as well, with my dad playing cricket for a local team. So that got us playing out on the street and getting interested in the sport as well. I was a proper tomboy growing up, so that was for me the best bit of my childhood, being out on the street with the rest of the girls and boys playing whatever sport we felt like playing that day. My dad played for a local Bradford team in West Bowling for a number of years. So growing up, he'd take us to games with him when he wasn't playing, if his friends were playing, taking us along whilst he was watching cricket. We'd sort of do what kids do, play and probably watch a little bit as well. I don't think my dad had that much of a reaction. My brother did though. My brother was like, "You playing cricket?" I was like, "Alright, you know, I know I'm in my 30s and you know, it's not something I've done since I was a child." But I think they were surprised, and I'm hoping that on the day it'll be such a good game, they'll be pleasantly surprised by how much I've learned through being part of this tournament.
In terms of the project itself, as people are hearing about the project, the reaction has been phenomenal. I went to a restaurant in Bradford in BD7, and they've got an open kitchen, and one of the chefs, very traditional elderly Asian man, called me over and he said, "You're the lady that's doing the cricket, aren't you?" And this was in Urdu. And I said, "Yeah," and I was getting a bit worried, thinking he's gonna have a go. Why are women playing cricket? But to my complete surprise, he congratulated me on what we've done and what we've achieved, and he said, "You know what, this is the best thing ever, and you women have got my support. Whatever you're doing is great, and it's about time that women were given these chances to play. If we men can play, you women should be able to play, and anything you need from me, I'm there to support you."
My first session that I attended, I was really nervous, didn't know what to expect, but Shivani and Kirsty, who were two of the coaches, just really made me feel welcome, comfortable, and they've been brilliant. I absolutely love those two women, because just the way that they teach and they love the game makes you just catch on their enthusiasm. It's contagious. My name's Sasha, and I was born in India, in Kashmir, and moved to England when I was 14 in 1991, and have lived in England ever since, all over the place really. Came to Bradford originally, but then moved to Wakefield, and then went to Hull, have moved to London, Manchester, Sheffield, and then back in Bradford now. So I grew up in Kashmir, and I went to school there. The school that I went to was very academic focused, and we didn't tend to play a lot of sports. Most of us would play, if anybody did play, they played on the streets, and the things that I tended to get involved in were solitary things. So I cycled, and maybe I did a lot of reading. That was my main sport. I know it's probably not considered a sport, but I'd get through like 2 or 3 books in a day, and for me that was my way of kind of exercising my mind. And I'd walk a lot, so those are the things that I probably got involved in, which were much more solitary than team sports. I got involved in the IWCC tournament following a conversation that Fatima was having on Facebook between the directors of Park Lane Cricket Club when it was launched and reopened, and rightfully she was saying how women weren't represented, and so I watched that conversation happening with interest, but didn't think too much of it. And then a few months later I saw a poster that Fatima put up saying that she was inviting 4 teams to be put together of women, and I felt like I wanted to have a team that I identified with, so I just messaged her and said, "Oh, it'd be great to have a team," and she said, "Well, if you can put one together, then do so," and so I kind of talked myself into that challenge, and then felt I had to follow through, and so that kind of found it really easy to just reach out to friends and people on Facebook and Twitter to just say who would like to play cricket, not thinking anybody would come forward, and actually found within a day I had a full team of co-workers, other people who actually wanted to join the other 4 teams, but they were full, and very quickly got a team together, and that's kind of where it started. The highlights of playing has been playing a sport that I've never played before, so never thought I would play a sport, never thought I'd get involved in a team activity. Just meeting other young women, older women, and women in all walks of life. I think that just has been really great to see that. So when we had the first high tea event, and just meeting everyone, and just actually seeing that this was a tournament that was bringing together women from all walks of life, who have different abilities and different interests in the sport, but actually we're all coming together to represent women and to show that we've all got a space to play within cricket. So one of the other highlights for me was meeting Lydia Greenway on the trophy tour of the World Cup, and just hearing her journey into cricket, but also being able to ask her about what tips she had. And I struggle with the fielding, so and you know, like I said, I think the winning of the game is in the fielding and having great teamwork. And she just gave me some really good tips that just really simple things like how you follow the ball, how you invite the ball to come to you. Because what I was doing in the practice sessions was just wishing that the ball wouldn't come towards me. And but it was just great to see her journey as a woman in cricket, and just seeing just the different struggles that you think sometimes as a woman that you experience, actually a lot of other women experience, and not feeling alone in those was great. So I loved meeting Lydia Greenway, and it was great to see Kirsty So, who I think she's a real idol for Kirsty, and it was just great to see Kirsty really shy and not shouting at everyone to type on the pitch. So
I mean, Cricket World Cup's massive, you know, both male and female, especially the female one a couple of years back, which just was leaps and bounds for women's sport. And it was great, you know. I got to meet Lydia Greenway, you know, she's a fantastic England cricketer, and it was just something fun, and I think all the women really enjoyed to come down and see the trophy, which is really great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how far they've come, and watching them actually play a proper game of cricket. I know it's softball, I'm fully aware of that, but all the same principles to cricket apply. You know, they've still got to be able to bowl a good length ball, they've still got to be able to play a proper cricket shot and run between the wickets. So that's probably what I'm looking forward to the most.
My advice to others would be that the only person stopping you getting involved in anything that you want to do, whether it's sport or anything else, is yourself. If you tell yourself you can't do something, then that you're putting the barrier up rather than letting somebody else do it. And that's one thing I found from getting involved in the IWCC, is that I was a little bit worried, thinking I'm not good enough to play, but as I've been playing, as I've been going to the sessions, that confidence has grown, and I've found that things that I was never able to do before, like bowling. I was horrendous at bowling. Still not my best strength, but as I've been practicing, my bowling's becoming more accurate, and that's something I never thought I'd be able to do. But I've sort of persevered with it and been determined to learn that skill, and I feel like it's going well.
What I'd like to say to people is to never underestimate your abilities, that there's so much you can learn at any time, and practice. I think this has been a great initiative that gets women in work playing a sport where actually there are no opportunities and no facilities probably that work around that busy lifestyle that people have, and not just women in work, but you know, women who are no longer in educational facilities where those opportunities exist. I think that's about just the fact that there isn't a lot to do. If you've not played a sport as a child through school, university, you haven't built then a community of people who you know play that to continue afterwards. If you don't have that at all, then your first step into any physical activity at the moment really is only a gym, and I think there needs to be a lot more around the different social activities that people can do through team sports.
I would just like to encourage all women out there to come along and join us, because it's one of the best experiences that you will ever have. You know, at the moment we've got 4 teams. We could expand that to 5, 6, 7, 8, depending on how many women came along. So I would love to see more women turning up to train in, but I would also encourage them to turn up on the actual tournament day, and I think they will see then that it's quite exciting.